Welcome to my first solo episode on our Straight to the Point series. I know you got to hear my beautiful sister Molly last week in her solo episode, and this is kind of a fun deviation from the normal format. We're testing out some new ways that we get to be in connection and relationship with you as we continue to build this very near and dear to our heart series. Straight to the point. If you're new here, welcome to our bold, daring, liberated conversations that are designed to remove the mask of the coaching industry, the online entrepreneurial journey, and invite you into a very real, very raw, authentic conversation around the next evolution of who we are all being asked to be. And so part of what I wanted to speak into today is this concept that was presented to me by a very incredible female coach who is so devoted to the feminine, the way of the goddess. Her name is Heather Allison, and I am certain to have her on the show very soon. Call that a manifestation right there. And what I want to talk to you about is a concept that she bridged to me or posed to me, which is this idea that we are being asked right now as a collective of souls, coaches, seers, healers, witches, mystics, those of us who are here to remember the goddess, those of us who are here to carry the codes of the divine feminine. We are being asked to trust in the unseen from the unseen. I'm going to repeat that again, and I want you to just let go of the mind and try to figure it out, because the next evolution of your business, the next evolution of who you came here to be, the next evolution of your authentic expression is not going to come from you figuring it out. It's going to come from the unseen. And what's tricky about this, and so let me just repeat what I just said one more time, and I want you to close your eyes if it's safe to do so. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if it's safe to do so, close your eyes, pause whatever you're doing, and just hear these words. You are being invited to trust in the unseen from the unseen. Just let that sink in. And it's okay if your mind is going, what the fuck is she talking about? Or some of you might go, oh my God, oof, I feel that. And I don't even know why I feel that in the way that I feel that, but I feel something. Here's what's happening. What we're being invited into as a collective of souls is the deepest trust, or a deepening of trust in the unseen realms, the mystery, the unknown. And simultaneously, we're being asked to trust in the unknown, in the unseen, in the mystery from the mystery. What do I mean by this? We are being asked to trust without knowing the way forward, without having the perfect strategy to follow, without having the exact steps, the exact roadmap, the perfect, 3-part, perfect modules and my step-by-step instructions for getting XYZ and having $1 million by 2025, right? All of that jargon, while it's neither good or bad, right or wrong, it's actually not. How do I want to say this? It's the old paradigm disguising itself as the divine feminine. But it's not actually the divine feminine. It's the wounded, toxic masculine in disguise. Some of you guys may be going, oh my God. Others of you, maybe you're turning this episode off, right? This can also be a triggering conversation. But we are being asked to step into a new way of being in our lives, in our businesses, with our content, with our offers, with our sales. All of it is changing, transforming, rearranging. The way that you used to make money maybe isn't serving you anymore. The proven methodology you used to teach may not feel in alignment anymore. The way that you've been getting clients may not feel fulfilling anymore. The type of content you may be putting out onto the internet may not be lighting you up the way that it was anymore. All of this, none of this is wrong, by the way. And this is the biggest lie that we're being told, is that something is wrong with you, that something is wrong with your marketing, that something is wrong with your messaging. This just keeps us in the perpetual cycle of needing to figure it out, fix it, make it better. But what actually is happening is you're being rerouted, reunited, and realigned with your highest destiny path, your highest soul's destiny path. You're being invited to step onto a higher timeline if you're willing to pay attention to the way in which the goddess is asking you to move. Now, most will struggle with this because they're so committed to clinging to the past ways in which their business used to make them money. They're so devoted to the way in which clients used to come to them. They're so entwined and entangled in the way in which their content used to blow them up on the internet. And guess what? Views are down, money's down, clients are down. But it's not working the way that it used to because you're being rerouted. You're being realigned. You're being reawakened to something so much bigger, more magnificent, more, what's the word I want to use here? Mysterious than you could ever even imagine. We are moving from the Piscean age into the age of Aquarius. We've been talking about this forever, but we are finally making that transition. And what's happening is we are moving from the age of the mind to the age of the body. Now, on a journey, this was maybe 9 months ago, I got a very deep download that we are here to steward our physical vessels, our bodies. They're not ours. We can't take them with us. We're here to steward them. That also means we're here to steward the mechanism of our mind. But here's where it gets tricky. We've been so over-reliant on our mind that we've forgotten it is simply a tool and something we can't escape during our human experience. But we have been taught to go to the mind to figure it out versus listening to the wisdom of the body. The wisdom of the body is actually our unconscious. And what is our unconscious? It's our unknown. It's more of the mystery. It's the feminine. It's the being. It's the surrender. It's the not knowing. So we're having to make these shifts, micro shifts, subtle shifts as we start to recognize that we've been overutilizing our mind in trying to figure it out, chart the path, know the way, know the steps, have the roadmap, have the perfect solid method that's going to get me from point A to point Z in 3 months, in 6 months, right? We've been taught that that's the way to success, to creating a successful business, to creating our next level of quantum leaping, when in actuality, what we're doing when we do that is we're rejecting our feminine, which resides in the mystery, in the not knowing, in the unknown, in the trusting, in the whispers, in the nudges, in the niggle. So we're being rerouted. And what's happening is your dip in income, your dip in clients, your dip in views, the shift that's happening in your business that feels excruciating or simply uncomfortable is because you're being realigned to your highest soul's destiny point, path, timeline, whatever you want to call it. And not just in what you're doing, in how you're doing it. It's one thing to shift the what. It's a whole other thing to shift the how. What do I mean when I say that? What you do, maybe all of a sudden, maybe you were a money mindset coach and now you're switching to a business and brand authentic liberator, content liberator. I don't know. Terrible example, right? Or maybe you were a health coach and you're switching to business. That's the what you're here to do. The second piece, and the one we never talk about, hardly ever, is the how. How you are here to do what you do. This is part of the conversation that we're talking about today. Trusting in the unseen from the unseen. It's not just what you're here to do, it's how you're here to do it. It's how you're here to be in relationship to yourself, to your business, to your clients, to your numbers, to your money, to your bank account, to your content, to your messaging, to your programs, to your teaching. How are you realigning, rerouting? Are you seeing that dip in your business and going, oh my God, this is it, I'm done for, right? Are you looking at it and you're actually going, okay, I'm listening, Goddess, I'm listening, Goddess, I'm listening. And allowing yourself room and spaciousness to hear what is wanting to come through, the information that is wanting to pour through for you, for the next evolution of you and who you came here to be, to become. And I'm also noticing too, and this is kind of interesting because this is very much a channeled episode. I kind of sat down in front of the microphone, closed my eyes, took a deep breath, said, I'm here, I'm listening. What are we talking about today? And the goddess came right in with this topic. What's really fucking cool is that the goddess is non-linear. So what I'm also having to do while I'm channeling this episode for you is to notice the nonlinear nature of this conversation, how she's kind of taking us all over the map, weaving us in all of these different directions without showing us the way forward, without a clear roadmap, without knowing the next thing coming out of my mouth, inviting me to trust even deeper in her wisdom and my ability to distill it and share it to the world. And you may be sitting here going, wow, this is sounding so interesting, and yet it's all over the place. And that's part of the process of coming into relationship with her. I made a post. I shared a post to my stories maybe last week or a couple weeks ago, whenever you're listening to this. It was right around Easter time. And it was a conversation around Easter and the original, the sort of pagan religion where they worshiped the goddess. And I remember sharing this post around where the eggs came from and all of these different pieces. And I wrote underneath, let's be honest, all roads lead back to the goddess. And that is so true. Has never been more true. Because we are all birthed from something. And the birthing is a very feminine act. Only really one way for an infant to come earthside, through the portal of creation. So the goddess is the remembrance of our great cosmic mother, the one who birthed us all. So as we come into devotion with her, with the goddess inside of ourselves, we are also coming into deeper devotion with her, with a capital H, our great cosmic mother. The one who nurtures us, loves us, honors us, is devoted to us. And this is part of our remembering, our deep remembering. As we dive into the different portals of our own mystery, the great mysteries, and we align ourselves with truth, with wealth, with wisdom, with authenticity, with liberation, with truth. And we give ourselves in that permission to fuck it up, to make mistakes, to take a wrong turn, and to give ourselves the opportunity for compassion, for grace, for unconditional love in all the seasons that we're in, that we're walking through. And room to just be and listen and hear what steps she would have you take, where she would have you go, without knowing the way forward. So with that, I'm going to close this episode with a poem that I wrote for my birthday. This poem it's titled, Yoni on Fire. Yoni on fire, she's leading the way, traversing the darkest valleys of shame. She hoists herself above the branches that broke her, crawling along the forest floor of despair, desperate for just one drop of hope. And you're on the right path. For just one morsel of keep going, and you've got this. Naked, she rides through life. Bareback, she forges ahead. A full gallop, knowing there's no going backwards, only ever forwards. Deeper into the wild unknown she rides, the only place she will ever truly know herself. Thanks for joining me. See you on the next episode.